So we really see a very varied picture out there in terms of regulatory acceptance and the regulatory climate in different countries. I think what's remarkable to us is that, especially in emerging markets, there are exceptions, as you mentioned. Think of Nigeria and Egypt, but on the whole, we're seeing a number of large economies really lean in and try to understand this. I was just in Latin America, and we heard a lot about how Brazil is approaching crypto, and it's really interesting that we're seeing the central bank and others really engage and start pilot projects. There was a Lyft project recently that Stellar was involved in around CBDCs. We're seeing the central banks and different regulatory bodies really try to understand. And what we don't have in other countries is sort of a fight between different agencies, different agencies about who has jurisdiction, which I think really dominates the narrative here in the US. What we see in other countries that are considering this is a desire to move forward. Now, I think what's important is that we should understand not every country is going to proceed at the same pace, and they don't have to. I think some are going to wait, and some are going to have, capital control restrictions. Some are going to, like India, are going to really want to crack down on private speculation, but maybe move ahead quite quickly on some of their efforts around CBDCs. And that is great. I mean, it's great for different countries to try different approaches. From our perspective, we really want to support the companies that are in countries where there is openness on the regulatory front, even if there's not necessarily clarity yet. If there's openness, we want to help engage the regulators and really educate them on the promise of economic empowerment and on helping their constituents, and then support the companies that are building in those countries to make sure they understand how to build on Stellar, and then B, understand how to be responsible players in the ecosystem. And I'll give you a very concrete example. We have a number of guidelines when people issue assets on Stellar, and one of the guidelines is to have attestations that are publicly available. And if you think of the assets that are issued on other networks, or the assets that have had trouble and maybe specifically had trouble last year, a lot of those were either algorithmic or did not have attestations publicly. And we've seen a trend to more and more transparency around attestations. And so that's just one example where the guidelines within the Stellar ecosystem can really help the regulators feel a lot more comfortable.
Thanks for watching this clip from Emerging Voices. If you enjoyed our content, please take a moment to like this video and share it with your friends. And to stay up to date with what's happening in Web3 from emerging markets, we produce a 5-minute, once-a-week newsletter recapping the week's Web3 news from Africa, Asia, Latin America, and Eastern Europe to help you stay informed and stay smart. Link to get access is in the description. And before you go, please subscribe to our channel. Thanks again, and see you soon.